Yo, what's good, chat? How y'all feeling today? I'm feeling blessed. Back with more of me playing GTA 5 Story Mode. I'm not gonna necessarily do any of the missions specifically, but um, yeah, I'm not gonna do not gonna necessarily do any of them specifically, but I'm just gonna play for fun, just talk, Cause I mentioned I'm gonna constantly stream every day if I want millions or even billions of subs, not trillions, cause that's not even possible yet, because of because of what current population. So yeah, just might as well chat. Did I say chat? Chat, you feel me? And something I wanted to specifically mention, can you all hear me, chat? And alrighty. Not gonna see my controller because I have to let my mic charge for a bit. You feel me? But yeah, certain things I want to mention on here. You feel me? Like about my future private space agency, my I most likely want to create my own cars, but privately, meaning like when they see me on the road, they're like, "Whoa, what year did you came from?" Not when you were born in, but like what year did you came from? Like I've never seen this car before. Like that's what I mean by private car dealership, meaning it's specifically for me or people that I choose, like a contract they have to sign to ensure that they don't reveal the secret. You feel me? Excuse me. We could possibly start with the private space agency of mine that I'm going to create in the future. So, planets that I mentioned I want to travel to, because I've planned on the planets I want to most likely travel to. Hold up.
Now it's not 18 minutes. Now we're playing in 15 minutes. So you're ending your stream. You're ending your stream in 15 minutes and doing a new one for Roblox.
You can go. De momento. My bad, I was talking to my sister. My gosh. My bad, I was talking to my sister. Anyway. But yeah, the private space agency. What planets do I want to travel to and why? So on exactly the year 2030 is when I could possibly be an astronaut. Because hey, you can choose when you want to be an astronaut. The 10-year is according to NASA. College? Yeah, for college it's 4 years. So really, you get to choose a training. Because for being a doctor, it depends on each hospital, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so yeah, on exactly the year 2030, because I want like 5 years of training. So 3 years in college, in 2 years, train myself to be a professional astronaut. What? What? You want to tell me? What? Do you want to tell me? Anyway, so on exactly year 2030, the planets I want to plan on heading to first is Mars, Earth, Moon, aka Luna, and Venus. For Mars, a manned mission, a private manned mission, like a solo manned private manned mission to Mars to explore and potentially provide a full or a private full-scale colonization. Same for the Moon, a solo private manned mission to the Moon for exploration and potentially a private full-scale colonization. For Venus, just a private floating city mission on Venus, possibly a private crewed manned mission, meaning like it's a crew. Like when people say crewed mission or private crewed mission, well, if it's private, then obviously NASA, SpaceX, and ESA can't necessarily interfere and get involved, because then they're gonna be like, "Ooh, let's take over this planet." You feel me? So when they're arrogant, they want to take over, something like that. They want to be nosy, pretty much. Lazy, relying on other technology, and greedy, just wanting to keep that money. What they can use the money for? For the New Horizon, well, it's in the millions. It's cheap when you think of it, because you think that you want to save plenty of fuel just to make it take 10 years, like, and just relying on planet gravity. Yeah, that's just a waste of time. And just think of it of a person traveling to California, but it takes 10 years simply because of how slow the car was. Well, I call that a waste of time. Excuse me. Money, a waste if you don't treat it right, so you're not buying happiness with that money. Anyway, on exactly year 2033, a private manned mission, which is a solo private manned mission to Titan, just for exploration. No necessary colonization yet for Titan, because then the spacecraft is going to occur, and I'm sure it's going to explore all of Titan. So I got to occur on Titan, because 2034 is when the Dragonfly space probe will occur, and I don't necessarily want wanted to get involved and be like, "Oh, there's an astronaut on there. We have caught this person starting a mission without us. We're going to see what this person's up to." Like, that's how NASA is. They're very arrogant. Like, they want to get nosy. We already know about their slothness, like a sloth, which is another sin, sloth, and their greediness. The greediness. SpaceX, arrogant because, well, same as NASA, they want to get nosy, and two, they want to take over other planets, thinking that they're better. Which they're gonna want to even try, but all they're gonna do is colonize, but they can't even have their own government. I'm gonna be the one to be the top government of all, which I refer to myself as the Martian government. For Elon Musk, is just part of his SpaceX plan. Not even near having the main, not being the main government. If he doesn't even start a government as well at all, then all he did is just colonize and act like he's just a neighbor on Mars, whereas God gave me authority to take over Mars. Did it went in? Oh, it definitely did! I'm like, why could I head down there? But obviously, there's a certain reason why. Damn, that water low-key looks like Kool-Aid. Or those... You know what I'm referring to, Chad? Damn, this is a tight... This is a tight space. If you were to swim in here, you would be claustrophobic. You have a phobia of being clustered, like, in tight places. I'm not necessarily claustrophobic, unless I'm traumatized by it, but there's a difference between being traumatized and scared, and I have no fears, so you would know for sure. Scared when... You remember how I explained the situation, how it took me 4 hours just to get to my mom's place simply because I was hanging out with my homies and everybody in my family said I was lost, but I wasn't necessarily? Was I scared? No. I wasn't even traumatized. I mean, what I was traumatized for is the situation I went to, how all my parents were worried because they're like, you never let your mom know what time exactly or specifically you would get home, you feel me? Oh yeah, NASA is very greedy because they're the reason why the astronauts are left in space and why they couldn't use the money to save those 2 astronauts. Elon Musk... Yeah, okay, let's explain about SpaceX before I jump into conclusion, even though I'm not necessarily assuming. When you jump into conclusion, you're either assuming, meaning you're just guessing without an answer, or you had the right answer to jump into that conclusion, you feel me? And people say, don't jump into conclusion. Real shit, conclusion mean you are concluding an answer that you found or had. Or have, I meant. So real shit, though, you gotta realize, chat, like, real shit... Never mention the term, don't jump into conclusion. Because you're specifically mentioning, don't conclude the answer that you don't have. Which, you know for a fact they do. Just say don't assume, because then they'll be like, well, what if you are the one assuming that I don't have the answer, but I really do? So when you say don't jump into conclusion, you're most likely assuming that the person doesn't necessarily have the answer, but they most likely do, you feel me? Oh yeah, anyway, about SpaceX. Yeah, they want to take over. They're like NASA as well. They're nosy. But, well, NASA is like that as well because they want to take over the moon. Yeah, have all of that. You're just going to think that you want to own the moon. God gave me authority. And someone else as well. Possibly me and one of my crew could possibly lead the moon. Because real shit, if NASA did it, Because one, Bill Nelson is a retired astronaut, which, why would you be a retired astronaut? And two, you're just letting the crew take over. Which, were they given authority from God to take over the moon? Like, the God given authority saying, hey, you can take over the moon. You have been chosen and chosen divinely, being in my kingdom. And to have access to the moon and Mars. Or just the moon. Really depends, though. Well, I'm sure he would choose me, not out of being arrogant, because why would I be? But to ensure that I know exactly what to do on the moon. Elon... I mean, he does use reusable rocket, and I'm sure NASA's using that instead of doing it themselves because of how lazy and greedy they are. SpaceX, it can be quite greedy, because obviously I'm sure they want more money instead of heading to Mars at that moment, like at that very moment. Which at first I was thinking, did Elon said 2020 or the 2020s? Seems like he mentions the 2020s. But I'll set it to the other side so I don't necessarily lose my van, even though I wouldn't necessarily. But yeah, he used reusable rocket, but still quite greedy when you're just saving more and more money. Lazy. Well, did I mention relying on other technologies yet? Yeah, seems like it. Okay, I could have went to the blue dot. Anyway, enough with that. ESA, I'm sure is the same as well, unless they're quite different. But anyway, that's 2020. That's 2033, not 2035. Europa. possibly drilling into the ice, because I'm sure NASA would never do that if they had a manned mission. They never mentioned about drilling into the ice, so I'm gonna possibly do it myself. Prove to NASA, SpaceX, and ESA that I'm the one who could possibly do it. Well, no, because if my thing is private, then they're gonna be like, "Ooh, this guy thinks he's better. We're gonna take his ideas in detail," because that's how they are. They don't want to do it themselves. They don't want to create their own ideas. They want to take over other ideas, or they want to take other ideas. And the public-private partnership, it's like you're mixing the two into one, which is very dangerous when you do it like that, because you never know what they could possibly do, chat. That's why I'm never gonna possibly collaborate with NASA, with SpaceX, and with what you might call it, ESA. Possibly Blue Origin, because they're the only one, well, other space agencies as well, but Blue Origin, they know what's up. Because Jeff Bezos, after some, like, does he like those guys who are greedy? No. He is a very, very genuine man. Especially since he sent all of the females into space. And you're, like, wondering, why can't they send missions as well? Because they need the money. They wish they can have that money. And that's why I'm going to collaborate with them. But the only reason I'm doing that is because they're not arrogant, they're not lazy, and they're not greedy. They're going to have the money, but I'm sure they funded that money simply because they launched a female into space. They're going to have a mission on Mars potentially, but I'm sure they would want me to start it. You feel me? They're not necessarily desperate though. They know when it's the right moment. So possibly Blue Origin only. Which, that could have been my space agency name, but I'm like, it's not good, you feel me? So yeah, 2035, Europa, drilling into the ice and exploring. Possibly exploring first, then drilling. But it's going to be very bright over there at Europa. I'm going to see if I could possibly vlog there or something, because I'm pretty sure I can add like a cover on my phone where it prevents oxygen from escaping from my phone and radiation damaging it. Because real shit, your phone can get damaged, and I can have international Wi-Fi. What's up? But yeah, Europa's gonna be very bright, chat, so you're gonna love it. I'll be sure to bring my phone with me as well. Possibly have Wi-Fi within my spacecraft, so whenever I'm near it, it can gather Wi-Fi, and I'm sure I can add like a very expensive one. This would be like in the trillions. Like if even far away from it on Europa or any planet, because it's gonna be the same. Because I'm gonna use the same spacecraft for all missions. I'm just gonna add everything for all planets, whether I'm on Mercury, Venus, Mars. Oops, not Mars. Mercury, Venus, the Moon, Mars, Jupiter Moon, Jupiter. Excuse me, Jupiter moons, Jupiter, Saturn moons, Saturn, Uranus moons, Uranus, Neptune moons, Neptune, and Pluto. And then the other planets as well. And then, depending on which warp drive I want to add, I can just choose the speed. Anyway, on exactly the year 2038? Yeah, 2038 is a mission to Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And that is a mission that has not been planned because people think that it's gonna be planned toward the 2050s or 60s. I'm like, that is very late. In the 30s, not really. I mean, it's in the future, but that's when things are. That's when people are starting to use the money because they're like, you know what? We're not gonna keep that much money. We need to use it for the. So people are gonna be confused. Like, this is what the future is gonna be, but 2020. 2025 or beyond, they're going to be like, that is not what the future is meant to be. If you use the money for all of these technology that are currently here, especially warp drive for spacecraft, but making the spacecraft advanced, then I'm sure that's what the future could possibly be like. You'll see, possibly 2038 you'll see, because people are going to be like, it's not going to be possible during that time. Definitely will, chat. Definitely will.
Yeah, why Johnny? I'm gonna go get Melina. Okay, you good, Mike?
Too
much phone. What time you went to bed yesterday, Mike?
Time? Early?
You tell me. And your phone died in the morning?
Oh yeah, I didn't have a chance to charge it.
Remember that?
But I woke up in time.
It took you a while. You did, I don't know. I'll be back.
No, I did. Yeah.
I'll be back.
Alright. Okay, we'll see. Anyway. Oh, Tory B. Keep this a secret, chat. Well, obviously, because YouTube is going to prevent NASA, SpaceX, and ESA, which, when I mention ESA, I'm specifically referring to ESA, what am I saying? European Space Agency. Which obviously YouTube is going to be like, yeah, we know what's up. We want to ensure that they don't necessarily get involved and interfere. You feel me? Because this is very private. But this is gonna be like September of 2038. So I'm gonna possibly travel to the Kuiper Belt, explore that, explore the Oort cloud, head into like interstellar space, and then arrive at Proxima Centauri and to the planet Proxima Centauri B, which is gonna possibly be a crewed mission, so a private crewed manned mission, which is gonna possibly be like 20 of us. Be 8 human astronauts and 8. Well, I'm the 8th one, so seven human astronauts, which includes me. So that's 8 of us. And what's 8 plus 8? Did I say 20, chat? Hey Siri, what's 8 plus 8? Hey Siri, what's 9 plus 9? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be 19. Shit, is that my car?
Look out the way.
God damn, she was blind as hell. She didn't even stop. You know how most people are like, oh, like. Well, if it was me, I wouldn't. I would just be like, oops, gotta get out of the way. See, now she's scared. Well, traumatized. But who knows? Because some traumas you could have fear. Like PTSD, for example, post-traumatic stress disorder. There's different type of trauma. I got a rare specific type of mental trauma. Uh, yeah, I'm sure. Woo! Ooh, it's dirty. Ah! They'll change it tomorrow, so. Plus, I'm very busy at the very moment, so. I said I'm very busy at the very moment. Alright, chat, oh, there's a person over here.
I cannot believe this! I cannot! Jesus H, you're a moron! What are we gonna do? Bro, you wanna make... Don't beat it!
Citizens report a deadly weapon at the Dallas Store Primary.
Plenty of money, chat. Anyway, on exactly the year 2039, afterwards, it's gonna possibly be a trip to Jupiter, Saturn, and then possibly Mercury and the Sun. And for Mercury, chat, it's gonna possibly just be exploring. Jupiter, Saturn, heading inside, exploring inside to see what it's like. Don't worry, I'm gonna have the features for my advanced spacecraft, so you would all be like, how do you survive? Well, I'm sure you would know how. And for the Sun, don't worry, same thing, I'll survive as well because of my features for the advanced spacecraft. Heating, heat shielding, to ensure that I can survive while inside the Sun to see what it looks like to be inside of a star, which is way in the future. And that's all I'm gonna possibly do during my space exploration for 2039. Oh, and for 2040, it's gonna possibly be traveling to several exoplanets like Kepler 186f, which is the planet of the Kepler 186 star system, TRAPPIST star system, and traveling to all the planets to see what it's like, which hopefully the habitable ones and the other ones as well with my astronaut suit. Very advanced though, you feel me? And possibly to the Alpha Centauri star system, traveling to Alpha Centauri BB. And possibly traveling back to Mars and the Moon to expand the private full-scale colonization, like expanding it, you feel me? Whoa, how did that happen, chat? And it all good. And possibly a base on an asteroid. The largest asteroid of all, possibly Ceres. Well, no, that's a planet.
What's going on, man?
It's just in the asteroid belt. That's a planet. Well, it's referred to as a dwarf planet because of its classification, like where it surrounds. It's about to on a very large asteroid, not Ceres though.
Tell your sis to come. Oh, you're gonna be sorry. You bitch.
Damn, that's how you do it. Damn, only 11 bullets?
Dispatch, we got eyes. We're in pursuit.
Shoot me! Fuck that shit. That's all. Shit, man.
Assault with a deadly weapon on
Oh, shit.
Capitol Boulevard.
Cock-eating motherfucker.
Suspect is fleeing in a car.
What's it called? So yeah, that's possibly what I'm gonna do during my space mission. It's gonna be very simple.
Suspect doing 60 miles per hour. Capitol
Oh yeah, I may possibly colonize those exoplanets that I've mentioned about, like Proxima Centauri B, Alpha Centauri BB, and the Kepler 186 F, and the other planets, or just that, depending on which one's habitable. And possibly the Trappist planet. And that's pretty much about it, you feel me? So another private thing I'm going to possibly do is create a private dealership, meaning like my own car company, by Inc. or whatever you refer to. Possibly create that. Hold on, give me a minute, chat. Someone's texting me on Snap. Which is plenty of text. Hold up. So how's that gonna work, Chet? The one I mentioned. So pretty much, like as I mentioned earlier, you remember how I mentioned like, so Tesla is a public, car company, but what I'm gonna create, it's gonna be like simultaneously for that vehicle, like all together of the features I'm gonna add. So it's gonna be luxurious, sport, and advanced, like futuristic. And you, so you know that Polestar car, it's gonna be similar to that, but way greater. You're gonna be like, damn, and it's gonna be very fast too. So just like for example, if you want to travel from anywhere in Michigan to Los Angeles or Phoenix, Arizona, or San Diego, or any city of any state, like imagine it took you less than a day or days, and it didn't just take you hours but minutes to just head there. That's how fast I'm talking about. Like the car will know exactly how long it would most likely take you to get there because simply because of how fast it is. You feel me? I mean, GTA is like that, like the cars, but it takes a while to head there. I mean, who knows? That's what I'm gonna possibly do. You feel me? But give me a minute. I.
Go get me 2 Hot Pockets.
Okay, hold up. Hold up, chat, be back. Possibly gonna end my streaming quite a bit. So actually, chat, I'm gonna end right here. If you want to see more of me playing GT5 story mode, be sure to leave the comment down below. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to end right here, take these, chat, because I'm gonna most likely play GT5 or not GT5. I'm gonna mostly watch WWE Monday Night Raw. Love WWE, love it, love the development and everything. Most likely, hopefully, I could potentially become the next CEO of WWE and just change everything in it that you all want me to change. But yeah, that's what I mean by creating my own car, but that is private, meaning only those I want to own it is what I will keep private most likely for me. But anyway, yeah,